Welcome to 3-Point Conversion, everyone, from TSN 1150 and TSN1150.ca. I'm Marshall Ferguson. Let's begin with the absences today. As we get closer and closer to the first preseason game of the year against the Toronto Argonauts on Saturday afternoon, everyone's wondering what veterans will be in the lineup and which will not. Chad Owens looks great. He's healthy. It looks like Andy Fantu is getting through camp unscathed. Fingers crossed to this point. Luke Tasker, same thing. There's a lot of guys that are healthy. Ted Laurent, dealing with what he's dealing with. He might not be in the lineup Saturday. It's not the end of the world. You know what Ted Laurent's going to give you once the regular season rolls around. More important to get that guy healthy. Of course, the other one that's in the trenches there, Mike Filer, he's got the stitches on his hand. Not the best situation to be able to fight through right now for him. Matthew Girard taking most of the center snaps thus far throughout camp, and third overall pick, Brandon Revenberg, has fit in very nicely in that offensive line. And of course, Speedy Banks, the story that a lot of people were wondering about at the beginning of training camp. It's kind of flown under the radar because he's just dealing with it back in North Carolina, and there's nothing that can really do as a team right now other than appreciate the fact that he's communicating with them. They do miss him. They do want him here. It's not contract related. It's just a guy who's going through an unfortunate situation at the worst possible time for the team. But would you rather have this happen now or have it happen week 3, week 4, week 5, or at the back end of the season? I think that the team is fairly happy that if he's going to have to deal with a situation like this, which is unfortunate no matter when it happens, that it be during training camp, because you know that guy will give you everything he has when he hits the field, when he returns to the black and gold. All right, enough of that negative stuff about talking about guys who aren't here. The guys who were here today, I want to talk about the mood they had. The feeling at practice today was much more similar to a game day type vibe. It felt like it was like a Thursday going into a Saturday game. They're a couple of days out now, and I think the guys are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that they're going to be able to get after somebody else very soon here at the end of training camp. It was upbeat. The defense was loud. They were communicating a lot more than they have in the last couple of days, and they kind of dominated the 12-on-12 periods today, to be completely honest. They looked fantastic. Now, that might have been the offense trying out a couple of younger guys, trying to find some of their depth at positions like quarterback, running back. There were names rolling in that you might not even see in the game in the preseason in week 1 here. But the defense played fantastic, and the energy at the end of practice was great. 12-on-12 special teams, it did not matter. It was a massive uptake in what we've seen over the last couple of days, and it feels like training camp is kind of crested, where you get to that day 6, day 7, day 8 point, and everyone's just tired and grumpy and wants to hit each other. And then they get over the top, they peel back on practices a little bit, they save your legs, they make you feel appreciated, and from there they're going to move forward, and they should be ready to go on Saturday against the Argos. The CFL NFL internship program continued today, as of course yesterday we spoke with Jabir Walker, who was involved with the National Football League making his way up here. He spent yesterday in Hamilton, then he went to Toronto. He was back here in Hamilton today, then he's going to Ottawa for a couple of days before he'll be involved in some preseason games. So interesting story for him. If you missed the interview, check out yesterday's 3-Point Conversion or YouTube for TSN1150.ca to get it there as well. But today there were more officials down here at Ron Joyce Stadium at McMaster on the field, and one of the two of the funnier moments of the day, really. Kent Austin at one point was getting ready for a drill. Sean Donnelly, left tackle in the second or third group right now for the Ticats, kind of came out of his stance, rocked out of it. They blew the whistle and threw the flag, and Austin was in regular season form. He said, "Don't ruin my drill. This isn't about you, okay? We're trying to get things done here." So he's trying to do everything he can to keep the tempo of practice high, keep the guys engaged, and he doesn't want the officiating, even though they're here to practice, getting in the way of any of that. The other end of this that was kind of funny was Mike Filer at one point. There's a new rule in the Canadian Football League this year where if they're using a silent count and the guard is going to tap the center to let him know that he can snap the ball, they don't have to pause for a full second. And that's unique because now you don't have defensive linemen trying to jump or getting across that line of scrimmage, anticipating the 1 second delay. It can be a tap and you can wait 2 seconds. It could be a tap and you can go right away. Nobody has to be set for a full second. It was just an unnecessary penalty that was being called throughout the year last year that was putting the penalty numbers way higher than they should have been. So the CFL dealt with that, they negotiated that, and they decided to take that rule away and make it so that as soon as you tap the center as the guard in a loud environment when you're using the silent count, then you can go right away. Mike Filer today, there was a flag thrown on an offensive line procedure penalty, and Filer ran over to the official that threw the flag and said, no, they changed that rule this year. That's completely different. So still negotiating a little bit of the changes going into this season. We'll see how they officiate the actual game coming up this Saturday. Of course, we've got it for you on TSN 1150 Hamilton. Looking forward to having the call with myself and Coach John Salavanis. For TSN 1150 and TSN1150.ca, I'm Marshall Ferguson.